Enslavement to time, barriers to total perception. We live in time, from childhood to death. We chase it, fear it, measure it, save it, waste it, and eventually lose ourselves in it. Everywhere we look, humanity is running. Running to succeed, running to arrive, running to become. And while we are busy chasing the next moment, we fail to see the present one. Perhaps the greatest barrier to understanding reality completely is not ignorance. It is our enslavement to time. The psychological prison of time. We rarely observe life directly. Instead, we experience everything through the lens of time. Every event becomes a story. A beginning, a sequence, an ending. Without a story, the mind feels lost. We are so addicted to sequences and progression that even when none exists, we create one artificially. Consider election results. The winners are already mathematically decided while votes are being counted. Yet results are shown gradually, moment by moment, as if candidates are racing in real time. The excitement, the anxiety, the emotional drama, all emerge from our fascination with unfolding time. Human beings are deeply conditioned to experience reality as movement toward something, and this conditioning silently controls our lives. The endless hurry. Most people do not simply want success. They want success quickly. Not merely health, but rapid transformation. Not merely wealth, but instant wealth. Not merely achievement, but early achievement. The modern world profits from this impatience. Lose weight in 7 days. Get rich faster. Learn quicker. Grow instantly. Entire industries survive because human beings cannot tolerate slowness. Even luxury is sold through speed. A car is no longer admired for comfort or beauty, but for how fast it reaches 60 miles per hour. And strangely, the same person who wastes hours in distraction every day suddenly becomes desperate to save a few seconds on the road. Why? Because psychologically, speed gives the illusion of progress. But in chasing speed, we stop perceiving life. Life as a never-ending race. From the beginning of life, we are trained to run. In school, we want college quickly. In college, we want jobs quickly. In careers, we want promotions quickly. After decades of work, we want retirement quickly. Life becomes a race from one station to another. But notice something carefully. When we arrive somewhere, we never truly arrive. The mind immediately creates another destination, another goal, another future, another race against time. And so we continue running until death. Time and the fragmentation of perception. To perceive completely, one must see clearly. But the mind rarely observes directly. It observes through memory. Recognition itself depends on time. When you see something, the brain immediately compares it with stored memories. Names, images, categories, experiences. This is a tree. This is anger. This is my friend. This is success. Our looking is never pure looking. It is always looking at something. And therefore, every observation is contaminated by the past. We think memory helps perception, but memory also limits perception. Because when the past dominates observation, nothing new can ever truly be seen. Why we cannot see freshly. The mind becomes bored very quickly. Why? Because once something is known, it loses freshness. So we search endlessly for novelty, new entertainment, new experiences, new identities. But even when we encounter something new, we immediately compare it with old memory. The mind can only observe through the known, and therefore the truly new remains invisible to us. This is the tragedy of human perception. We seek freshness while carrying the weight of the entire past into every moment. Can total perception ever exist? A complete perception may only be possible outside psychological time. Not outside clock time, but outside the constant movement of memory, comparison, expectation, and becoming. For one brief moment, imagine observing without naming, without comparing, without asking, "What is this? Have I seen this before? What will happen next?" Just observing, purely, silently, without the observer carrying the burden of the past. Perhaps that is what true perception means. But for human beings, this appears almost impossible, because our entire identity is built from memory and time. We know ourselves through stories, through experiences, through continuity. To drop time psychologically feels almost like death itself. And yet, unless the mind learns to stop running, stop comparing, stop chasing, reality may never be seen completely. Unless the time ends.
Total perception. Why separation prevents us from seeing reality completely. What if the greatest limitation of human perception is not our eyes, not our intelligence, not even time, but separation? What if we never truly see reality as it is, because we divide everything into fragments? Me and you, mine and yours, us and them. And once this division begins, our perception becomes incomplete, distorted, biased, broken. Today, we explore why total perception of reality becomes impossible as long as the human mind exists in separation. The invisible division. From childhood, we slowly learn to divide the world into two categories: what belongs to me and what does not. My family, my beliefs, my success, my religion, my nation, my pain. And everything outside that boundary becomes the other. This division appears harmless, but the moment perception becomes personal, it stops being complete. We no longer see reality as it is. We see reality through ownership, attachment, fear, and preference. A parent watching a school performance does not really observe the whole performance. Their eyes search only for their child. A political supporter no longer evaluates facts objectively. They defend what feels emotionally theirs. Even our possessions transform our perception. A rented house may remain emotionally distant for years, but a newly purchased car becomes precious within hours. Why? Because attachment is not created by proximity. It is created by identification. We value what we psychologically absorb into ourselves. And once something becomes mine, perception becomes biased. The psychology of separation. Modern psychology has discovered hundreds of cognitive biases, but many of them emerge from one central illusion: the illusion of separation. We value our own ideas more than others, our suffering more than others, our effort more than others. Psychologists call this the endowment effect. People assign greater value to things simply because they own them. When people succeed, they credit their intelligence and hard work. When they fail, they blame circumstances. This is called self-serving bias. When others make mistakes, we call them careless or irresponsible. When we make the same mistakes, we explain them away with circumstances. This is called fundamental attribution error. Again and again, human perception bends itself around the center called I. And because of this, humanity does not experience reality directly. It experiences a personalized version of reality, a personal universe. The lost innocence. But strangely, we were not born this way. As children, we moved through life without psychological boundaries. We spoke freely, played freely, touched the world without calculation. A child does not deeply understand mine and not mine. The world feels open, unified, alive. But slowly, conditioning begins. Comparison, competition, possession, identity. And gradually, the pure perception of childhood becomes fragmented. The mind constructs a psychological wall around itself, and from that moment onward, human beings stop seeing the whole. They only see fragments connected to themselves. Why conflict becomes inevitable. Where there is separation, conflict becomes unavoidable. Because every individual gives greater importance to their opinion, their contribution, their identity, their suffering. Even cooperation becomes difficult. Two people may work together physically while remaining psychologically divided. Two corporations may merge financially while internally competing for dominance. Nations speak of peace while protecting self-interest above humanity. As long as perception is divided, harmony remains impossible. Because harmony requires seeing without bias, without the constant movement of I matter more. What is love? Perhaps this is why true love is so rare. What we usually call love is often attachment, dependence, pleasure, or possession. But real love may be something entirely different. Love may begin only when the psychological center, the I, becomes silent. Because separation requires two, me and the other. But when the dominance of me disappears, division disappears with it. And what remains is direct relationship. Without control, without ownership, without psychological walls. In that state, perception is no longer fragmented. One sees completely. Perhaps total perception is nothing but the experience of pure love, a state in which observer and observed are no longer separate. Humanity has mastered science, technology, and information, but inwardly, we continue to live in division. And as long as the mind remains trapped in me and mine, our perception of reality will remain incomplete.
Denial of reality, the barrier to total perception. What prevents us from seeing reality completely? Why do human beings, despite living inside reality every moment, fail to perceive it fully? Perhaps the answer is uncomfortable, We deny reality. Our existence is real, yet much of our life is lived inside illusion. We do not see the world as it is, we see it as we wish it to be. Life is constantly changing. Everything is moving, transforming, aging, appearing, and disappearing. Nothing remains the same even for a single moment. Yet strangely, we live as though permanence exists. We assume stability, we assume certainty, we assume predictability, and above all, we assume security. But reality offers none of these permanently. This denial of reality becomes one of the greatest barriers to total perception, the fear behind denial. Human beings are deeply uncomfortable with uncertainty. The unknown frightens us because uncertainty reminds us of death, loss, and insecurity. So instead of accepting reality in its raw form, we psychologically construct an imaginary world, a world of permanence, control, and predictability. We cling to routines, we cling to identities, we cling to beliefs, we cling to images of how life should be. And whenever reality disagrees with our expectations, we resist it. This resistance is denial. Denying reality in society. Consider politics. Often we reject leaders not because they fail practically, but because they fail morally according to our personal ideals. A leader may improve the economy, create jobs, strengthen safety, or maintain stability. Yet many people remain unable to accept that leader because the leader does not match the image they carry in their minds of what an ideal leader should be. We do not simply observe reality. We compare reality against our expectations. And when reality fails to match our mental image, we deny reality itself. The same happens in everyday life. We support people as long as they agree with us. The moment they think differently, we withdraw our support. Why? Because we are attached not to truth, but to psychological comfort. We surround ourselves with beliefs, opinions, and alternate realities because they make us feel secure. But security built upon illusion separates us from total perception. Denial of aging and death. Perhaps nowhere is denial more visible than in our relationship with aging. Every human being knows that aging leads toward death. This process is unavoidable. The body weakens, the skin changes, hair turns gray, energy declines. Yet most of our life is spent resisting this reality. We color our hair, we hide wrinkles, we reshape our appearance. We desperately try to preserve an earlier version of ourselves. Why? Because change threatens the illusion of permanence. We do not merely fear aging, we fear what aging reveals, that nothing in life remains fixed. And by refusing to acknowledge this truth completely, we prevent ourselves from perceiving reality as it truly is. The painful reality of human relationships. Aging changes not only the body, but relationships as well. As people grow old, they often discover a painful truth. The world slowly moves away from them. Those who once admired them may avoid them. Those who once depended on them may no longer need them. Influence fades, importance fades, attention fades. This is one of the harsh realities of life. Yet instead of accepting it, many continue fighting reality emotionally. They long for the past to return. They seek the same respect, the same affection, the same importance they once had. But reality has already changed. To deny this reality creates suffering. To accept it brings silence, understanding, and peace. Acceptance does not mean hopelessness. It means seeing clearly. And clarity is essential for total perception. Social conditioning and artificial reality. Human beings no longer live naturally. We live conditionally. Our behaviors, language, gestures, and reactions are heavily shaped by social conditioning. In every society, people constantly monitor themselves to avoid judgment. People suppress natural reactions. They modify speech. They alter behavior. Not because perception changed naturally, but because society demands conformity. Over time, this conditioning becomes so strong that we stop perceiving reality directly. We begin perceiving through filters, political filters, cultural filters, moral filters, ideological filters. Eventually, reality itself becomes secondary to social approval. We become afraid to describe things honestly because honesty may offend someone. So instead of perceiving reality as it is, we soften it, decorate it, and reinterpret it. Humanity increasingly lives inside psychologically manufactured versions of reality. And the more artificial our perception becomes, the farther we move from total perception. Total perception. Total perception can happen only in the present moment. Reality exists completely only now. To perceive totally means to observe without distortion, without resistance, without psychological escape, without denial. The moment we refuse to acknowledge any part of reality, perception becomes fragmented. We no longer see what is, we only see what we prefer. And therefore, the universe we experience becomes incomplete, distorted, and deeply illusory. Reality does not require our agreement. It only requires our willingness to see. The question is not whether reality is harsh or comforting. The question is, can we observe it completely? Because only when denial ends does total perception begin.
Logic and reasoning, why they prevent total perception. Among all the tools available to human beings, none is held in higher regard than logic and reasoning. We trust logic in science. We trust logic in law. We trust logic in politics. We trust logic in everyday decision-making. In fact, many people consider logic to be the ultimate test of truth. Whenever discussions move towards spirituality, religion, consciousness, or the deeper mysteries of existence, logical questions immediately arise.
If God created everything, then who created God?
If God is all-powerful, why is there suffering in the world?
If there is justice in the universe, why do innocent children die while criminals prosper?
Such questions are considered powerful because they appear logical. For many people, once an argument appears logical, the debate is over. Logic becomes the final judge. But should it? Can logic really answer every question? Can a tool designed to compare opposites fully understand a reality that may not be divided into opposites at all? The purpose of this discussion is not to reject logic. Logic is an extraordinary tool. The question is whether it is sufficient. Can logic reveal the whole truth? Or does it reveal only a small portion of reality? To understand why total perception remains elusive, we must first understand the limitations of our dependence on logic. Chapter 1. The black and white nature of logic. Logic works through distinctions: true or false, right or wrong, success or failure. Reality, however, is rarely so simple. Reality exists in gradients, spectrums, probabilities, and countless shades between extremes. The moment we force reality into rigid categories, we begin losing information. Logic gives clarity, but often at the cost of completeness. Total perception requires seeing not only the extremes, but also everything that exists between them. Chapter 2. The love-hate mistake. One of the most common logical errors appears in human relationships. When love fails, people often move toward hatred. It appears logical. If love is one pole, hatred must be the opposite. But this reasoning overlooks something important. Hatred is not freedom from love. Hatred is continued attachment. The hated person still occupies your thoughts, emotions, and memories. The true opposite of loving someone is not hatred. It is simply not loving. The difference is profound. One keeps the bond alive, the other dissolves it completely. This illustrates how logic often mistakes one extreme for the true opposite. Chapter 3: When Logic Encounters Paradox. Logic performs beautifully within well-defined boundaries, but reality occasionally presents situations that break those boundaries. Consider the statement, "I always lie." If the statement is true, it becomes false. If it is false, it becomes true. Logic becomes trapped. Or consider a person saying, "I am humble." The statement is logically valid, yet genuine humility disappears the moment it is proudly declared. These examples reveal something important. Logical consistency does not always guarantee truth. Reality contains paradoxes that cannot be captured through simple logical structures. Chapter 4: The Oppression Reversal Trap. Throughout history, many groups have suffered oppression. When people see justice, logic often suggests that the opposite condition must be the solution. If one group dominated another, then reversing the roles may appear fair. But this merely changes the direction of oppression. The true opposite of oppression is not reverse oppression. It is the complete absence of oppression. Many social conflicts persist because people confuse opposition with resolution. Reality often offers possibilities beyond the two poles imagined by logic. Chapter 5: The Danger of Labels. The logical mind is uncomfortable with uncertainty. It prefers conclusions. One lie becomes liar. One mistake becomes failure. One photograph becomes a complete description of someone's character. A small fragment is treated as the whole truth. Reality is rarely that simple. Human beings are far too complex to be reduced to a single incident. Total perception requires resisting the temptation to label people based on incomplete information. Chapter 6: Assumptions Hidden Inside Logic. The mind constantly inserts assumptions into situations. Ask someone, "Name a month that contains 29 days." Many people search for February. They fail to notice that every month contains at least 29 days. The logical mind unconsciously adds restrictions that were never stated. The same thing happens in politics, relationships, and public debates. We see a small piece of information and imagine that we possess the complete picture. Often, our conclusions tell us more about our assumptions than about reality itself. Chapter 7: The False Comfort of Rationalization. Human beings dislike being blamed. Whenever mistakes are pointed out, the mind searches for escape routes. A child says, "Others didn't do their homework either." A political supporter says, "What about the mistakes of the other side?" The issue is quietly shifted elsewhere. The purpose is no longer understanding. The purpose becomes self-defense. Logic is used not to discover truth, but to avoid discomfort. This habit blocks total perception because attention moves away from what is actually being examined. Chapter 8: The Missing Gray Areas. The logical mind wants certainty. It wants complete heroes and complete villains, complete truth and complete falsehood. But reality contains endless shades of gray. Someone can be mostly honest and occasionally dishonest. Someone can be intelligent and still make foolish decisions. Someone can be kind and yet deeply flawed. A mind seeking total perception must become comfortable with ambiguity and complexity. Chapter 9: Cause, Effect, and the Loss of Wonder. Human beings constantly ask why. Why did this happen? What caused that? Who is responsible? This search has enormous practical value. Science itself depends on it. Yet there is a hidden cost. When every experience becomes an investigation, we stop experiencing it directly. When it rains, we search for explanations. Rarely do we simply watch the rain. When we are busy explaining life, we may fail to live it. Total perception requires not only understanding reality, but also experiencing it. Chapter 10: The Great Paradox. Some truths appear illogical. An intelligent person is not someone who knows everything. An intelligent person is someone who knows how much he does not know. Peace is not the absence of disturbance. Peace begins with awareness of disturbance. Mindfulness is not the absence of distraction. Mindfulness begins with awareness of distraction. Reality often reveals itself through paradox rather than through straightforward logic. The more deeply we understand this, the more open we become to total perception. Conclusion: Logic as a tool, not a master. Logic is one of humanity's greatest achievements. Without it, science, technology, and civilization would be impossible. The problem begins only when we mistake logic for reality itself. A total perception of reality becomes possible only when we can use logic without becoming imprisoned by it. The moment we stop forcing reality into black and white categories, we begin to perceive the countless shades that were always present. And perhaps that is where true understanding begins.